This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, Lynners and all others watching. Cannot believe Thanksgiving is next week, but here we are with a new segment full of community spirit and upcoming projects. This week also features a double lowdown containing exciting details about a new art expansion in the downtown, as well as expanding resources for the LGBTQ+ youth community. We have a packed episode, so let's jump right in with the news for Friday, November 21st, 2025. The Lynn City Council Veterans Council held a resource fair for veterans and the greater community the evening of November 13th. About a dozen organizations gathered at Elhand to share information on their resources before several veterans and supporters of the veteran community were honored with citations from the city.
Tonight is about connection, community, and care. It's about ensuring that the men and women who serve this nation and their families have access to resources and recognition they've earned through their service. I want to begin by thanking the Lynn Housing Authority and Neighborhood Development. I also want to thank all of the organizations who joined us today to table and provide information. Your presence here reflects what true community looks like when we come together to serve those who once stood ready to serve us all. As a veteran myself, I understand that service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. It lives in the way we show up for each other and how we build bridges between agencies and how we advocate and in how we ensure that no veteran ever feels forgotten.
The City of Lynn has a rich history of veteran service going back from the Revolutionary War all the way to now, present time. I'm proud to be a veteran. I'm proud to be a public servant in this city, and happy Veterans Day to all.
This feels especially meaningful because, as Pete Meany said, Lynn has a long history, a long, proud tradition of service. Generations of men and women who step forward and call when called, and communities that always step up for one another. And that spirit is alive and well right here tonight. And one of our biggest priorities right now is ending veteran homelessness. And doing it in partnership with cities and towns. And one example is the Lynn Armory. At the Armory, this historic space will be transformed into safe, permanent housing for veterans. Our office awarded the Lynn Housing Authority $2.5 million grant to end veteran homelessness, and the Armory project is expected to open in 2028 and have 43 units.
Let today be a reminder that you are seen, valued, and never alone in this city. Thank you all for being here, and thank you again to everyone who made this event possible.
The Massachusetts School Building Authority invited 3 Lynn Public School projects into their accelerated repair program. At Ford Elementary, all windows and exterior doors will be replaced in a $3 million project. Another $8 million is going towards replacing the majority of the roof at Lynn Classical High School. Then at the Lynn Vocational Technical Institute, the boilers will be replaced with heat pumps as part of a process to electrify the heating system. The approximate cost of this project is $35 million. Lynn has already secured a $5 million grant from the Massachusetts Clean Energy Care Center and is applying for a $10 million grant through the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources. Now that these projects have been accepted into this program, the city will also partner with the MSBA on a schematic design study. The MSBA will also reimburse 80% of the project costs, according to Michael Donovan, Director of Capital Projects for the city. On November 20th, the Education Center at Briarcliff was named in honor of late Lynn civil rights activist Virginia Barton. Barton spent decades fighting racism and leaves behind a legacy of service to the community. Before her death in 2010 at the age of 82, Barton worked for the Lynn Economic Opportunity and LPS. She also co-chaired the Citizens Against Racism and was the president of the North Shore NAACP. But Barton's involvement in civil rights began much earlier, in 1968, when her and her NAACP Lynn leaders led a peaceful demonstration at Briarcliff against the third-party presidential candidate and former Alabama Governor George Wallace's campaign due to his segregationist platform. Mayor Nicholson commented on the significance of naming the center after Barton, quote, "Virginia Barton was a fierce advocate for civil rights who led by doing. She experienced the ugliness of racism firsthand and worked tirelessly to try to shield others from a similar experience. It is not an exaggeration to say she accomplished as much in that regard as anyone in our city who has ever taken up that fight," end quote. Now we turn the clock back even further to the 1920s. While we can only imagine what that period was like, the Centerboard Speakeasy fundraiser last Friday gave us a great look, complete with costumes, casino games, and food to fit the occasion.
Tonight we are having a kind of fundraiser for 3 different programs, and as you can see, this is our Speakeasy event.
I appreciate you being here tonight. We also appreciate that prohibition is coming to an end. Although that vote hasn't happened yet, we know it's coming soon. And God willing, it happens soon. But until that time, we still meet here in secrecy to talk about the things that are important to us.
100% of the proceeds tonight are going to be going towards 3 separate programs, all of which have had some sort of cuts from the federal and state government. So one of them is our We Rise program, and that's for children who have been sexually exploited. Another one is for our Family Resource Center for families that have been experiencing really hard times with their SNAP benefits being cut, and or, you know, a lot of food insecurity. And then the third program is for our True Mentor program, which may be facing some cuts next year. We want to make sure that all of those programs are funded. So tonight we're having fun, we're raising money, and we're having a good time. If you weren't able to make it tonight, we may have another one. This is kind of our little testing grounds, but we're not sure when that's going to happen. We do need the money now. If you would like to donate, see what you like here, check us out at centerboard.org. And in order to donate, just click the donate button.
Keeping on the theme of community excellence and support, nominations are now open for the 2026 Black Excellence Awards. Every year, the North Shore Juneteenth Association recognizes members of the Black community who exemplify Black excellence. And they are now looking to the community to help select 10 new nominees for this honor. NSJA defines local Black excellence as, quote, a community member of color from Essex County that embraces being Black, has achieved in their career, has contributed greatly to their community, or both, end quote. They encourage anyone who knows someone fitting the criteria to nominate them and share with their network. The 10 people chosen will be honored during the opening reception of the local Black Excellence display on February 10th, 2026. The City of Lynn is planning to renovate the small boat basin at the Seaport Landing Marina, 154 Lynnway, number 6. They have released a survey seeking input from the community regarding both this proposed project and the marina as a whole. This upcoming project would replace all floats and docks, install a new accessible gateway, and renovate other existing structures. The survey is available through the City of Lynn's website or lyntv.org and can be completed in 8 different languages. Responses for the survey will be accepted until December 12, 2025. For the 11th year, the Lynn Vocational Technical Alumni Association hosted the Festival of Trees. This event runs until November 23rd, so there is still a chance to check it out if you have not already. LCTV was on site the night of the 19th to capture the rows of trees and raffle items.
Well, welcome to our 11th annual Festival of Trees. There's about 100 items here. All the trees are donated from families, businesses, other community organizations, schools, the mayor. All the money goes straight to the students of Lynn Tech, whether it be scholarships or funding snacks for Saturday school, tassels for co-op, at graduation. We refabbed a the skills program kitchen. Anything that the students need here, 100% of it goes back to them, and thanks to the community that we are able to put it together.
This is such a fabulous event, and we worked really hard to get it all together, but I have to say every donor for every tree, wreath, blow up, that's who, they all make it possible for us, and we are so grateful to all the help that they give us, all their time that they do just to put their trees together, all the money they spend, because these trees are amazing and they're so talented, so we are so grateful.
And there's lots of hugs going on in the middle of the hallway of people that haven't seen each other in forever, and introducing their grandchildren to neighbors that they had growing up. A lot of people also tell us that their holiday doesn't start until they come here, and that's just an honor for us to be able to do that.
This first lowdown is an exciting one, as representatives from Raw Artworks and the City of Lynn were discussing the $100,000 Bloomberg grant, which will be used to transform Central Square. As one of only 10 cities selected among the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, this is a great honor for both Raw and Lynn. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dani Vittori. Welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. And today we welcome representatives from both Raw and the City of Lynn to discuss the Bloomberg Asphalt Art Initiative grant. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
So I'm really excited to jump right into this. Now, I did have to research this grant. I'll admit I did not know that much about it, but for our audience, would you be able to explain, what is this grant? Because it's it's an international grant. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. This is an asphalt art grant, so it's given to 10 different cities around Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and this year, fortunately, Lynn was one of the recipients. So we will be designing, and putting a street mural, out in front of Central Square, out in front of Raw Artworks, later in the spring and summer.
And this is, you said it's a $100,000 grant, so it's a very large grant, especially for this program. So that funds, I assume, the materials, the labor, all of that.
Yeah. So it funds our paint, our materials, but then also at Raw we have talent and purpose programs, and so our young people will also get stipends for helping to make that art.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
And
we'll also be engaging the community and probably involving some other organizations in the actual painting.
And the big thing is its collaboration. Mariah and Paul, you're with RAW, and then LaCrecia, you're with the City of Lynn. So you ended up partnering with them to work on this grant. And how has that collaboration gone? You were saying earlier how great it was.
Yeah, I mean, working with RAW is always just such a pleasure, and I'm really excited about this collaboration. The city is on board with helping RAW Artworks to beautify and improve Central Square, which is their neighborhood, and the gateway to the Downtown Lynn Cultural District. So the city departments are working with RAW Artworks. There's the planning department, community development, and DPW, and there's going to be some significant investments in like time and resources to help work, you know, in a complementary way with what RAW Artworks is doing with the art part, and we're going to help make the whole infrastructure of Central Square so much better. It'll be great.
And there has even been a big push, even in the last few years with Central Square. I mean, between RAW and other organizations, there's art popping up everywhere. So it's the beautification, but the other big piece I didn't realize was it actually can improve safety, depending on where you put the mural. And I'm very interested in that because I would not have thought of it.
Yeah. I mean, certainly we know the power of public art, but then also when you think about it, this grant actually focuses a lot on wayfinding. And so how do you use that art to actually help people move around a cultural district? And so that's part of what we'll be doing in the grant, or with the grant money, is creating both murals that help people move through the space, but then also a larger mural with some QR codes and some things like that, so that folks can actually learn about the cultural district and engage just by going up and seeing some of that art.
And many times, art on the street, murals on the street, any sort of street activation is really good for traffic mitigation and improving safety, pedestrian safety. I'm not sure exactly why, like I don't know the science behind it, but it helps to reduce speed, you know, help people to be more aware of their surroundings to keep people safer.
Yeah.
The paint can delineate where the traffic is supposed to go as opposed to the traffic going anywhere. Also, they'll be putting in some new crosswalks. They will be taking out a slip lane and narrowing the crosswalks as well, so all safety features. There are people out there right now doing interviews about the safety and how safe that area is for pedestrians.
That's great too. So you're combining public art with the safety aspect, so it's the best of both worlds. I mean, everyone's going to get to benefit from it. The safety piece, and then of course the young artist from RAW, where they'll be putting in it's next spring, you said, when they'll be actually painting this.
Yep, coming up in 2026, which feels closer than any of us imagined. But yeah, late spring and then summer, really getting out there when the weather's great.
And then how do you decide? I mean, there's so many young artists at RAW. How have you decided, or do you know who's going to paint it yet within them, or have you not picked them yet?
Yeah, so we actually have several groups whose mission is public art. And so we'll be working with the young people who are enrolled in those groups to paint these murals.
So it's going to be a large group of them then. A lot of people get involved.
Because it's a large palette also, our creative director, Laura Smith, has talked about engaging all of our art groups, not just the paid ones. So the paid youth will probably be more involved in the design, which will be a community process. But we're looking at possibly getting all of our kids out there to add their piece to the work.
I mean, how cool is that, right? How often do you get that opportunity as a young artist to get your name out there and say, I got to help do that? And I'll ask you, Paul, too, with a grant that was this involved. I mean, I know nothing about grant writing, but you were talking about the collaboration, and what is the process to really apply for a grant of this magnitude?
Yeah, I think the first step was to reach out to LaCrecia, actually, and then Ivan, and just ask, can we do this? Is this possible to do this here? And then next, DPW, because they need to make all the decisions about closing the street or about any changes that are going to happen on the street. And so I think we met a couple of times and realized, this is a possibility. And we met internally and RAW could do this. Let's go for it. Yeah.
And the timing was right too. When Paul and I spoke about the possibility of applying for the Bloomberg grant opportunity, and we both thought, well, regardless of whether or not you get the grant, and of course you were going to get it, but we still needed to do something. Central Square has needed some love for the longest time, and Raw Artworks, you know, that's, like I said earlier, that's your neighborhood, and you know, if you're taking measures to make it a better place, then we as a city, you know, it makes sense to collaborate and work at the same time and make it even more beautiful. So we're working on like streetscapes and making safer passages for pedestrians and cars, and we'll plant some trees, and you know, it's such a wonderful project.
Yeah.
So.
And the partnership around that has also extended a little bit into some of our other programs. And so we've had some of our groups actually making mosaics that will be connected to some of the benches that are actually going to be in the space. And so artwork will be all around Central Square even more than it is now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and even some of the pictures we were showing, the murals, they've been created, but they're not in Central Square yet. You said they're portable, so you're going to, well, not literally pick up and move them over, which I didn't realize you could do on such a large-scale mural. I've only seen it done smaller, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's definitely been valuable for us to have that technique, because then we can work all seasons and not have to worry too much about whether or not that piece can go up right then.
And in New England, that is definitely a very valid point, because as you said, in the 2 days that it's not snowing or 90, we're going to get it up there.
Exactly.
I can just add a bit about the collaboration too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
our film school, who's come over here and worked with you at LCTV.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they created some films, I think one about LCTV and about some other businesses and organizations in the Central Square area, which will be connecting through QR codes, as Mariah mentioned, on the mural. And so kind of supporting some of our local businesses through the project as well. And actually they're depicted in the mural as well.
So you're just collaborating and getting everyone involved, businesses, organizations, the artists of all mediums, painting, the film. I mean, I'm excited. And also it'll be interesting to see how you incorporate the QR codes into the art, because well, what I would do is definitely not what they would do. They're going to do it way better, so I'm really excited to see that. And thinking about, I said, a collaboration like this, it'll run through, I said, probably the next 6 months to a year or so. What are you all most looking forward to seeing, you know, when this is completed? What are you really looking forward to?
I would like I'm looking forward to seeing the culmination of all of the efforts that are going on in the city around art and like business support and things like that. In addition to the Asphalt Art Initiative that RA was awarded, the city has been working with community partners on the Creative Cities Initiative for the last 3 years. We've been granted an additional year, and that's to help support the arts and enhance what people like Raw Artworks is doing and others. And also, in addition to Creative Cities, we have a TDI district, which is a transformational district initiative with Union Street, the Union Street corridor, which also is kind of in your neighborhood. So all of these things coming together, I just think is just a really great synergy, and it all is going to wrap up at the same time, and it's going to make our downtown and our community just so exciting. So that was a lot, but yes, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, the TDI lights have actually extended onto Central Square, so we're happy about that. Some of the vendors on Central Square mentioned that as well. And I'm excited to see all the youth out there painting and the community, to see what comes out of the community design process.
At Raw's Block Party every year when we do our exhibit opening, one of my favorite moments is when you sort of glimpse a young person bringing over family or friends to show them what they made, and I can just imagine that on this grand scale with all hundreds of our young people who have gotten to participate and their families and community members who have joined them in that, getting to share together the final product.
It's fantastic what you said, and like you said, it seems like there's all these little like pieces, and they're all going to be coming together to see the final product. And I said, I cannot wait to see it. Raleigh's does incredible work, and of course, collaborating with the city, you do as well. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment, but was there any other points about the grant or about the work that I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to make sure you touched upon?
I would just like to say that this grant is pretty prestigious, and like what I think Mariah mentioned it earlier, they only offer 10 grants a year, and it's worldwide. And I think Lynn might be the smallest community to earn that award. So I'm really proud of you guys and the city for getting this. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, we're alongside Mexico City and Toronto and some other bigger cities.
Yeah.
Yes, Lynn is quite literally on the map in terms of the video, but also seeing it lit up there among all those other cities. It was amazing. I love to see that with the announcement. And I said, cannot wait to see how this process goes. But I want to thank you all again for coming on and talking about this really prestigious grant that you all got.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, anytime. Of course, you can learn more about this grant by going to any of the sites below. But for now, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Eighth-seeded St. Mary's traveled to top-ranked Shawshene Valley Tech, but were unable to pull off the upset in a 28-7 final. On the third play of the game, Shawshene intercepted Yanel Ballard before punching it in on the next play. The Spartans lost a second turnover, and by halftime it was 21-0. St. Mary's only score of the game came on a Rowan Merriweather touchdown late in the fourth. Kip Academy also reached the end of the road, falling to top-seeded Neshoba Valley Tech 20-8 last Friday. This was a much more heavily contested game than earlier in the season, and it was only 6-0 Neshoba at halftime. But the Panthers were only able to manage one score on a 1-yard rush by Avian Pena. Now, the Boston Celtics have climbed above 500 with a 113-99 victory over the New York Nets on the 18th. While it wasn't the prettiest win, 5 Boston players registered double-digit nights, led by Jaylen Brown with 29 and Peyton Pritchard's double-double 22-point, 10-rebound performance. The Celtics are without their top player, Jason Tatum, who went down with a torn Achilles in the playoffs of last year. Fans must now wait and see if the team can still make a playoff run without him. Next up, hear from the executive director of NAGLY regarding their newest program for LGBTQ teens ages 14 to 23. Now they can attend weekly gatherings at Centerboard to meet new friends, discuss issues, and participate in activities. But I will let their director, Tony, tell you more. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome back on Tony from NAGLY. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Right, so you've had several exciting developments, even in the last few months since we spoke before,
yes.
One of which is definitely you're now collaborating with Centerboard on a new program for LGBTQ plus youth.
Yes. Yeah, Dani, we're so excited to have a centralized NAGLY Lynn site, which is amazing. So it's at Centerboard FRC, Family Resource Center. It is right on City Hall Street, Plaza Avenue. It's a beautiful space. We're so excited to share it with Centerboard, and now we're running NAGLY Lynn weekly, which is amazing. We still have our raw site too. We're not going anywhere, I promise. So.
But as you said, NAGLY, your main base is in Salem.
Correct.
So it's great to have another space in Lynn where youth can go. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice to kind of to make sure we meet the youth where they're at, right? So we know that a lot of youth have a hard time getting to Salem from Lynn, right? Just because of accessibility. So being able to meet them where they're at is so important for us.
As you said, how long has that program been running? About a month now or so?
About a month, yeah, about a month and a half. We started right at the beginning of the school year. So.
Oh, okay, I get it. You match it up with their ends.
Exactly.
How has the attendance been so far? Are you still working on it?
We're still working on it. We have a couple that attend every week, but we're definitely trying to get more youth, especially from the high schools. So if anybody from Lynn Classical, Lynn English wants to send LGBTQIA plus youth over and experience the program and get some services, definitely send them our way.
Because the range of youth you serve, it goes up to 23?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
just want to make sure.
Yeah, so the Centerboard site is specifically for ages 14 to 23.
Okay.
Our raw artwork program is specifically for 11 to 17. So there's a little bit of an overlap, but we wanted to make sure the 14 to 23-year-olds had some space too.
Which is great, because you think of youth, you may think, oh, it might stop at 18, but it doesn't. It keeps going. You're still youth at that point.
Exactly.
You're still very young.
Exactly, just working on different skills, right?
Mm-hmm. And what sort of skills, when they go to these Centerboard meets, what sort of skills do you offer? Does it vary by week? Do the youth get to pick sort of what they want to do?
Sure. So the first couple meetings we had a real kind of a template meeting where we designed the program with the youth that attended. So
nice.
Yeah, we decided to do a couple board game nights, but we also mixed in some self-care nights. We wanted to do some queer history. So the topics vary each week. The first Wednesday of each month is always going to be a self-care meeting. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-care, do some yoga, some mindfulness potentially. Then the last Wednesday of each month is always going to be like a game night or a movie night. And then sprinkled in between every other week is going to be just a chill night, but also talking about things that need to be talked about, right? Life skills and things that any youth need to work on.
Do you have a good mix of the skills they work on, but also a place that's safe where they can come relax a little bit? It seems like that you really focus on making sure there's a balance there.
Exactly, yeah. We want youth to be able to come as respite and be able to come and just kind of hang out, decompress, maybe from a long day at school, and just chill and hang out with their friends. That's the biggest part of what we want to do.
And do you adjust your schedule at all in the summer versus the school year? I did see you have more drop-in hours maybe on Saturdays now because kids are back in school.
We do. So the Salem site, is fully operational every day of the week essentially. Mm-hmm. The only day we're really closed is Sundays. We're open Monday through Saturday. We have extended drop-in hours on Saturdays, and we have some added programming that we run throughout the summer as well. Earlier days and opportunities for youth to volunteer and visit the space and be a part of the community as well.
Because you have someone, if I was looking at it correctly for everyone, you're going to have drama and queer expression coming up in December, which stage management. You cover a wide spectrum, the arts, everything.
We do. We cover everything from theater to arts to digital art. We have an empowerment group that we focus on advocacy and empowerment. We have a health education program. So we try to bridge the gamut between basic life skills, right, and things that youth are interested in doing and participating in for clubs.
And have you seen a shift at all either in attendance or what youth want to talk about given everything that's happening around them locally, more nationally? Has there been a shift? Yeah, there has. I think a lot of our advocacy conversations are more about self-advocacy and self-empowerment. A lot of it is shifting kind of their potential reactions to things and how we can kind of cope with where we are right now in the moment. But I think a lot of youth, understandably want change yesterday, which is totally fair, and I get that. And it's just kind of slowing it down and knowing that, we're here for them, we're not going anywhere, we're going to continue to fight and do what we can. Like you said, it focuses in on what you can do, what can be done here, because any form of issue or anything that's happening can immediately start to feel more overwhelming as you start to think about it as bigger and bigger. And you kind of go, no, what can I do in this space right now, present moment? Yeah. What can I do to either react or to work on whatever it is that's in front of me? I could definitely use that. I tend to do the big thinking. I could use the focus. Yeah, exactly. It just takes time to just kind of retract, pull ourselves back from where we're thinking, our mindset, and then just doing whatever's right in front of us. And do you have any, upcoming workshops, any things that are coming, in the winter months that you're really looking forward to seeing? Anything new? Yeah, so our Salem site, we have a few Queer Joy workshops running throughout the fall and winter, which is a nice gender expression, gender euphoria type workshop, which is brilliant.
We have a ton of resource fairs that are going to be coming up. We have an art gallery coming up in the winter. We have our annual Gays Giving event. We have our annual Holidays event. I know, puns intended. So we have a ton of stuff coming up that youth and families are welcome to attend and participate in. Again, all free of charge. We barely ask for signups. We just want youth and families to come to the space and participate.
And I love the puns. I always appreciate them. I love it.
I love a good pun.
Plus, it makes you remember it.
Exactly. I will never forget Holidays.
I never will either now. Now it's in my brain.
You're welcome.
But a certain event like that, what is involved in it? The Holidays?
Yeah, so it's a potluck event. Holidays is specifically potluck. We ask families, we ask youth, we ask community members to bring a dish and come together and sit as a community and just chat and have conversations and actively listen. It's a time to bring people together.
And all that can be about, you think about family, they don't have to be directly blood related to you. It can be found family, it can be friends, it can be anyone in that kind of situation.
Exactly. Yep, and that's the beautiful part, is that people come from all over the North Shore to come and participate in this program, which is great.
And for anyone who maybe slightly on the older side, they can also participate in certain mentorship, leadership. They can work on that side of the skills as well.
Correct, right? Yeah. We have interns from ages 14 up. We have volunteer opportunities, community service hours. We have undergrad interns. We have master's level interns, volunteers. Anything that you would want to do to get involved with NAGLY, we can probably shape and model into what your skill set is.
Which is great, because it's not just a one-size-fits-all. It's everyone has different skill sets, different schedules. How can we make it work for you?
Yeah, we try to meet everyone where they're at.
Which you definitely do. You seem to serve a large population. And like you said, if you want to get involved, it's walk in, call, email, any social media, whatever's most convenient.
Correct. Yeah, you'll get a hold of me somehow.
We'll find Tony somehow.
Exactly. I'm not hard to find.
No, you are everywhere, which is very appreciated. And
of course.
It's a great resource for the LGBTQ plus community, all of us. And I'm trying to think. I think I went through all of my questions. I said you were answering so efficiently, which was awesome. But was there anything else coming up? Any other programming or any pieces that you wanted to make sure you tossed in there before I wrap up?
Yeah, I think I really want people to stay vigilant. Stay connected. If you aren't part of the LGBTQIA plus community, become a strong ally. We need that now more than ever. So check on friends, check on siblings, check on peers, and just make sure that you're a strong and supportive adult or young adult for anybody that identifies within the community.
Because allies are just as important, no matter if you're part of the community or not.
Correct. Yep.
Now I'm trying. Is there anything else that I had mentioned? But I know you mentioned, I'm circling back now to the Raw Arts. You mentioned that space. When is that specifically open? I know you talked about Centerboard, but what are the hours there?
Sure. So the Raw Artworks program, NAGLY Lynn, is the second Monday of each month, 5:30 to 7:30. So it happens to be tonight. Tonight, Monday. Yeah. Monday, November 10th. So it'll be the second Monday of each month, and no signups. You just drop on by Raw Arts, and there's usually about 15 to 20 middle school, early high school students that participate. It's a great program. It's just creative arts. It's just a nice time to chill and decompress. So.
And I'm glad I'm not the only one to think about what day it was.
Yep.
Yes, Monday. Okay.
Yep. I was
you have to go back.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
I said it's such a great way of expression. You have a great balance between the support and the self-expression. And I just want to thank you again for coming on to really spread this resource. Because like you said, you want more people to get involved.
Of course, Dani. Thank you so much. Appreciate this.
Of course, anytime. And of course, you can learn more about NAGLY by visiting any of the sites along the bottom of this page. But for now, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. The Cook Street Free Food Mobile Market hosts a pop-up pantry on the fourth Tuesday of every month. For November, this pantry will take place on the 25th from 3 to 4 p.m. at Cook Street Park. Attendees can come choose from a variety of fresh produce, pantry supplies, and nutritious food, all for free. No ID is required to participate, and the pantry is open to all in the community. It is recommended to bring your own bag, reusable or otherwise, to fill. Contact the New Lynn Coalition for any questions or concerns. From the Greater Lynn Chamber of Commerce, participate in the Adventure Club Lynn Woods Walk on November 29th. From 10 a.m. to noon, explore Lynn Woods with a fun, family-friendly guided tour by Lynn Woods Ranger Dan Small. Discover the park's natural beauty at this post-Thanksgiving walk. Be sure to wear comfortable clothing, sneakers or hiking boots, and bring your family and friends. The following day is the annual Santa's Helping Hands scavenger hunt. For the 61st year, the organization will be providing winter hats, coats, gloves, boots, and holiday gifts to the children of Lynn. On November 30th, teams can also participate in the scavenger hunt, which was added 23 years ago as a fun, engaging activity to raise funds for the organization. Beginning at Old Time at noon, 35 teams of 4 players will canvass the city and take pictures at designated locations. If this sounds of interest to you, teams can register for $100, and raffle prizes are also available. These are just some of the many amazing holiday events happening in the next few weeks. Follow @Lynn Community TV on social media to make sure you don't miss out on any celebrations. And be sure to check out lyntv.org for the most comprehensive community calendar of the city, recaps from previous events, and coverage of government meetings. If you prefer solely videos, then Lynn Community Television on YouTube is the place for you, featuring all staff content. As previously mentioned, next week is a holiday, so LCTV will be closed. But we will be back the first week in December with even more announcements and breaking news. I'm Dani Vittori. This is the LCTV News. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.